hopefully you can see me. But do a little checking in right quick like. What I can do, so I'm without my assistant today, so gotta do some things on my own, and so I'm gonna try and see if I can figure this out. Mostly because I just want to make sure you can see me. All right. So I hope you can for the moment while I wait. I hope you can see me. How are you doing this morning? It is a really amazing day today. And today is a really, really neat topic. So I'm super excited about it. It's an interesting one of sorts. I'm just gonna pull this guy right here. It's an interesting topic for sure. It says, pain is inevitable. Many times people may have heard me talk about pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. And so what I want to do is talk to you a bit about that idea, that understanding about pain. And again, please forgive me here while I see if I can check in on myself, see if you can see me. And it might be challenging because of my internet. I would just prefer to not record an entire day with half of my head or what have you. How about this? I'll check in a second. You type in the comments, let me know if you can see me and everything is good. I'll spin around and check on my phone, unless this decides to do any better and show me my live pick. But so pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. And I suppose that's only true depending upon how you define pain and you define suffering. Much like anything in life, we use our words to articulate things or describe things. The truth is, oftentimes we miscommunicate because it really depends upon how we define the words we're using. And for each of us, that might mean something completely different. I can say love, and I love you. And I mean that, and I have a vision in my head, a visual in my head about what that means to love. And you might have a completely different understanding and definition of the word. Neither of which is necessarily wrong, but it is different, and that can create miscommunication and misunderstanding. And I think oftentimes in communication, that's exactly what happens. So I think that what's important when we communicate is to clearly define what we mean when we say what we say. So for example, when I say pain is inevitable and suffering is a choice, I want to explain to you what I mean. Let me flip around real quick, and it could be because of my internet. Apparently I'm demanding too much. So let me check and see. Back up a foot or so. All right, I like that. Thanks for the feedback. Yes, that is exactly what I was looking for. All right, let's see if that feels a little bit better. Okay. All right. So we'll see if this feels better. I'll check one more time. in a little bit. I love the feedback. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so being clear and articulating very clearly what we mean when we use the words we're using. So let me do that for you. When I say pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. You could also say suffering is inevitable as well. And I would not dispute that statement. But let me just use this expression for today. And this expression being pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. Pain, struggle, discomfort, loss, grief, hurt, these things. This is pain, amongst many other things. There we go, I can see me now. All right, that's not so bad. Let's do this. See if that's any better. So this is pain. Pain is something that none of us can avoid. It is part of the human condition. And great, we're all gonna feel it. We're all gonna go through a range of emotions. All good. Well, then what? Well, the thing is most people spend a lot of their lives avoiding pain or getting stuck inside of it. Why is that problematic? Well, if I'm honest with you, I think because we are capable of so much more. And because I think life sucks if you stay inside of pain, and I think life sucks if you try to avoid pain. Let me explain what I mean. And forgive me, I'm going to keep refining our situation just a little bit. I don't think avoiding pain is possible. But what I mean when I say suffering, pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice, is that to remain inside of pain would be to suffer. To lose something and then continue to dwell on what that is would be suffering, or how I might define suffering. You can't avoid pain, and I think it is an exhaustive effort in life to do it. And in fact, I actually think that leaning into pain is critical. Not running from it, but actually embracing it. What does that mean, embracing pain? Just that. When we experience loss, when we experience struggle, to lean into that, to learn from it. You cannot avoid pain. It's part of being a human being. And, to be honest with you, also, not only do I not want to avoid pain, but I really appreciate pain. Sounds silly to say. Why? Well, I want you to think about some of the most incredible moments you've had in your life. My gosh, the most glaringly obvious one to me is childbirth. I have not born any children, and I don't think that is a part of my plan in particular. But I'll tell you what, moms are superheroes to me. Not all moms, and maybe that sounds nasty to say, but not all moms are awesome. And there's one thing you can always get from me. You'll get truth. I will be compassionate, but you're also going to get truth. But I know a lot of moms who are awesome, and I think it is an incredible sacrifice. You bear so much pain in order to bring this gift into the world, and then to treat this being as a gift. That's pretty incredible. And then you watch all of their accomplishments. None of those came without pain. Your own life. If you are married, I bet you've experienced some pain. Long-standing relationships for all of us. It's challenging, but part of what helps us to be so grateful for something is that great balance in life and understanding that we're going to experience pain, and then what? Well, that and then what part is up to us. And it also largely depends upon how you respond to pain. So I'm going to take a pretty strong stance on pain is inevitable and leaning into it and embracing it. And what I mean by that is this. I would even say it to be true that if you spend your life running from pain, you will likely have something akin to mediocrity. And Although I'm not particularly religious, I can appreciate stories and teachings from just about everywhere. And one of those teachings that really resonates within me is to be lukewarm, to be mediocre is worse than to be really shitty or really great. And I also think a great truth, again, maybe a bold statement, that a lot of people live in this space. And I think this space is a good example of, if you run away from pain, if you spend your life avoiding pain, here you are. Here you are. Right there in the middle, in the land of mediocrity. And to me, maybe it's just me. It's not me. Scholars alike, not alike me, much smarter than myself, have done many studies that say otherwise. That those who actually lean into pain, embrace the pain, choose to learn from the pain, actually live much more fulfilling lives. Because I believe that you do it enough times and you learn how to respond to it so much differently. Perhaps even to the extent that something that once was such a great pain is now so small. Maybe much like when you first get stung by a bee as a kid, it was this big! And then as you get to be an adult, you're like, yeah, I got stung by this little bee. It was a thing, and it sucked, and it hurt, but I was okay. I think pain works like this. We're going to have it in succession continually in life. But I think so many people actually run away from it or try to avoid it. When you think about not being your best, that's exactly what people are doing, is running from pain. When we talk about things, let me see, common challenges that people have. Procrastination's a big one. A lot of people in my work have said, I'm such a procrastinator. Well, procrastination is another form of avoiding pain. It's true. If we are procrastinating, there is some level of discomfort that we don't want to run into. And maybe that discomfort is, yeah, but I'm really tired. Or I really don't want to do that right now. I know that it's an obligation, or maybe not an obligation, a responsibility, and I just don't feel like doing it. Okay, you're avoiding the discomfort, the pain of doing something that you need to do in order to have a greater something, in order to get closer to what you're trying to get closer to, in order to be a little bit better, whatever it is. But procrastination is really another form of avoiding pain. Laziness, another form of avoiding pain. As I get older, the more studying I do, and I study every single day. I go to school every single day. It just doesn't have a title like a university or a this class or a that class. I study inside. I think this is the most difficult school to go to in your entire life, right here. Deep inside here, being honest with yourself about all of the shit that we've spent years acquiring and really starting to refine. But I think it's the most important school. And I think it's the best school that you can go to. Not to say that other things that you study and learn aren't important. They are. And if you don't use any of those in here, what is your life? What is your life? It's an avoidance. It's a series of avoiding pain. It's mediocrity. And I think I really do what I do in life because I genuinely have a deep belief in us as human beings that if we push and embrace we embrace that pain, and I don't mean without the balance of compassion, in association with, in conjunction, in marriage with compassion, but I really believe that if we lean into pain and we embrace the fact that we're going to have it, and even then immediately seek to learn from it, I think we do better. I think that we are capable of a great deal. And that's how I see us human beings. That's how I see our capability. But I see a lot of people not doing the work, and I think that's one of our biggest struggles. Naivety. I think being willfully blind is another way of avoiding pain. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and one of the things that we were discussing was what's going on in the world, and he said to me something like, I don't know, I don't really care, like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And listen, I am all about not needing to control, or understanding our not needing to control things in order to truly surrender to what's going on. But I don't think being intentionally blind to everything going on, I don't think that it is wise to not do any research, to not look at what's really going on, to just follow blindly. I think that's another form of avoiding pain. Why do I mean that? Well, because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to do research and to learn about things that, oh shit, if I find out another truth about something, what does that mean? This is what I mean by pain is inevitable. It's going to happen in one form or another. But to me, the pain of not being all that you are capable of being is way worse than the series of discomfort and pain that we might feel on a daily basis throughout our lives in order to become better. I'd rather deal with that pain. I'd rather deal with the pain of discomfort and having to say no to something that I know is not good for me than to just continually be blind or continually lean into procrastination or laziness or excuses or what have you. I'm not saying that's not a part of what we're going to experience. What I'm saying is we can do better. And what I'm saying is when you accept that pain is a part of your life and you actually go a step further and say, not only is pain a part of my life, but I'm going to learn something from this pain. I know people in my world who have been through tremendous amounts of pain, far more, I think, than I ever have. And yet they choose joy and they choose to continue growing. They choose faith on some level. To me, that's so much more admirable than just sitting back and trying to avoid pain. I don't think it's a very worthy life, a life spent trying to avoid pain. The sooner we accept that pain is a part of life, and in fact, a necessary part of life, the kind of necessary that people who reach levels of success in their life will tell you. The days that they spent crying or picking themselves up off the floor or falling down and having to get back up or failing on a grand scale and getting back up and continuing to strive. I don't think anybody at any level of success with a great deal of gratitude would say that they would be there without that pain, or that they would appreciate and have as much gratitude as they did or do without all of that pain. And so today, I think it's important to really pay attention to, am I avoiding pain? The inevitable pain of being a human being. Or am I leaning into it and in fact embracing it when it comes? And not only embracing it, but using it to push through. And what happens if you can think for a moment, and we're going to do this in our meditation, you can think for a moment those times when you did push past or through pain. And I'm not talking about doing something stupid to push past pain, like maybe breaking an arm or something, and you decide you're still going to keep building something and now put yourself potentially in a place for further damage. I know someone who would argue that. But anyway, I'm talking about the kinds of pain that we avoid on a very regular basis each and every day that deteriorates our human spirit. Because I think the opposite is true. I think every time we lean into pain and embrace that, this is a little bit uncomfortable, or even this is really uncomfortable, but I know that it's going to create something better for me, that elevates our human spirit and therefore our ability to do more. And this is why I think it's very important to lean into pain and to embrace pain. In fact, I think it's critical to living a successful, fulfilled life. Leaning into pain. So, I'm excited to do our meditation today. I get really excited because I know and I can feel all of these incredible awarenesses and insights coming in, not only for me, but I can feel them coming in for you too. And I envision, when I think about these meditations, you sitting and just really being open, and all of these awarenesses and insights coming in that now you get on your plate to go about your day. And you get to do the day differently, should you choose to. And how important will it be when you come up against discomfort to actually embrace it? To know that it might be a little bit painful in some way, shape, or form. And there's plenty of people in the world who don't have the fortitude or mental health or capabilities to strive through pain. That's not the area I'm talking about. If you need to do something to heal or to mend, do that. Do that first. If your pain that you hold now is too overwhelming for you to function and navigate with, then you need to get help so that you can navigate pain differently in your life. But if in honesty with yourself, you can say that you are simply just avoiding discomfort and pain, then it's you I'm talking to. Then you can do better. We can do better. And we need to if we want really fulfilled lives. Open-handed, open-hearted. We are going to start with our breath, as always, which is the best way to really become present, in the present moment. Not worried so much about the future, not focused on the past, or the past and the future if you're watching, whichever way it is for you, but really right here. This is the only space that we really have control over, dominion over, is just right now. So let's focus on our breath. We're going to breathe deeply in with a long, slow exhale. Breathe deeply in. Expand in your belly. Expand in your chest. And exhale out, long and slow. Let's slow everything down for a moment. Let's make this moment the most important moment. As you breathe, just stay focused right here. Just dialing into this present moment, just connecting to your breath. Remind your brain that it's okay to just be here. That all of the other things that want to interrupt you, no need, just be present. Gently usher them away. Come back to your breath. Deep breaths in. Long, slow exhalation. Really allowing everything to slow down. Allowing the mind to connect to the heart. Our awareness to connect to our higher self to connect to source. Just be present. Breathe deeply in. Exhale, letting go. Very good. Do one more big deep breath. Expand, expand, expand. Open yourself up the same way you wish to open to all of the awareness and insight that comes today. Exhale, letting go of anything that does not align with you being 100% present. And so as always, let us do our work in a bed of gratitude. Let us do our work full of gratitude so that through the lenses of gratitude we receive and invite everything in. Breathing deeply in now, sitting safely, netted and grounded inside of gratitude. Aware to just be grateful for this moment and all of the insights that will come. Let us go ahead and open up at our crown chakra at the top of our head. Imagine that space really opening. Maybe it's your third eye. Whatever it is for you, open up and expand. That's our invitation in. That's our welcoming to Source to fill us with awareness and insights so that we can truly be the best version of ourselves. So that we can operate at a high frequency each and every day. And let's begin with our body scan at the top of the head. Just noticing and becoming aware of anything that shows up in the body and what it has to teach us. Just become aware. Is there tension? Is there stress? Is there an excess of thoughts? When I sit down to release, am I flooded with many negative loops? Or am I able to just shut everything down and focus inward? And if it is a struggle, do I need to practice going inward, sitting in stillness more, moving down to the neck and the shoulders? Do I carry myself with confidence? Am I holding myself upright? Am I depressed and sad, carrying the weight and responsibility of others, or holding on to so much pain and unforgiveness? Moving down the body, my arms at my side. Am I relaxing my arms? In essence, surrendering to not carrying what is not mine, and to living with open arms and an open heart. The ability to receive and give as it is best to. Moving down the body into the chest. Breathe deeply in, expand, and feel your heart expand. Also, notice if there is any restriction or tension when you consciously attempt to expand. What is the restriction? What is the fear? So we move down the body into the belly and the lower back. Is my body communicating something to me? Are my organs working and feeling well? Is my low back supporting me in a way that feels good? Am I taking care of my body, fueling my body, grateful for my body, and therefore treating it well? Moving down into the hips. Am I still telling stories of pain and trauma in my life that are preventing me from raising up, from reaching higher levels of love and surrender in my life? Am I rooted each and every day, grounded in my values? Am I aware of my higher purpose? Or am I squeezing unfounded and restricting love in my life? Moving down the body into the legs and feet, becoming aware of any pain, of any stuck energy. Breathe deeply in as we open up and welcome in all of the growth that we are seeking today. Where in my life am I thankful? What am I blessed with? What am I gifted with? Become aware of what you have to be grateful for. Inside of gratitude, we will always see more than outside of gratitude. Let's really put on those lenses, those filters of gratitude through which we receive and learn everything. What am I thankful for today? And in this moment, I want you to become deeply aware of any pain you are holding in your life. Are you holding pain from your mother? Did she abandon you? Did she not love you or show up in a way you needed her to? Was she critical, judgmental, Did she encourage you to be your best? Did she teach you how incredible and capable you are? Are you holding pain from your father? Was he harsh? Was he rigid and not open and freely expressing love? Did he abandon you? Did he say or do things that hurt you? Are you holding any pain? Are you keeping that pain? Are you aware that that pain is causing you to view yourself with less love? Just become aware. Are there other people in your life, in your past, who have hurt you? Who have said or done things that felt like betrayal or rejection? That stirred fear within you? Are you still holding on to any of that? How is that wounding affecting you now? Do you restrict your own love? Do you refrain from being vulnerable? Are you loving and open and kind and gentle to others the way that you so ache to be held and treated yourself? How will it serve you to keep holding that pain? What does that pain represent in holding you back? What happens when you release that pain from your past? What happens when your stories of the past are no longer about pain, but about your growth and about your learning and about your evolution? What's it going to take to let go of the painful stories of your past? What lesson can you learn that would allow you to release that story, to rewrite that story from one of pain to one of triumph and learning and betterment? Is that pain from your past showing up in your world in ways of anger, frustration, avoidance, lack of vulnerability, indifference, lack of belief, muddled sense of self? And what happens if I allow myself to feel any of the pain that I need to feel in order to let it go? What happens if I believe in myself enough and I rewrite those stories that tell me I'm incapable, and I take all of those failures and I understand them as pain that taught me to get up one more time and strive? What happens if I become so deeply aware that I've fallen and failed so many times and I'm going to keep doing it because I am going to continue striving for success? What happens when I decide that the pain of mediocrity and indifference and a lack of self-worth and wallowing in all of my failures, what happens when that pain is truly known and unveiled, and it becomes so undesirable that I almost feel as if I have no choice but to move out of that pain, to rise up into my connection with Source and my higher self? What happens when I tell myself the truth, that there will be pain, more of it, and that as it comes, I'm simply going to learn and do better? That the discomfort of doing something different is so small in comparison to the glory and the victory of what I gain when I lean into what I want most. How different will my life be when I accept that there will be pain, but there will be victory on the other side of it. There will be learning and lessons and betterment, a healthier me, a happier me on the other side of that pain. How different will my life be when I stop trying to avoid pain? What do I get? What do I become aware of in this moment when I stop avoiding the thing that I'm avoiding because I'm afraid of how uncomfortable it might feel? I'm afraid of failing. Become aware that you have not failed at anything so bad that you stopped existing. You are here. That of every failure you've ever had, you are here, seeking awareness, seeking growth. And that means that no matter what I attempt and no matter how many times I fail, I get to keep striving. How different is my life when I stop avoiding pain? The pain of honest conversation, the pain of telling myself the truth, the pain of telling others the truth and feeling their discomfort, the pain of feeling rejection from others by telling the truth, the pain of accepting maybe that I have spent so long avoiding pain and being unhappy, but the glory of knowing that I have the capacity to change that. How different is my life when I stop avoiding pain at every level? How much better is my life now that I'm going to stop avoiding pain? I want you to envision for a moment the first thing that comes up that you become aware of, that you are avoiding because you don't want to feel pain. Whether that pain is called fear, whether that pain is called rejection, whether that pain is called avoidance or anger or insufficiency, whatever label that pain has, whatever comes into your awareness right now, what would it mean to embrace that pain and what's on the other side of it? So what if you feel fear? So what if you feel rejected? So what if you feel like you're not good enough? So what if you feel whatever pain it is? What's on the other side of embracing that and making a different decision? Listen to what is on the other side of pain. Breathe deeply in. Expand, expand, expand. Open, 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 and let go. Breathe deeply in. Open yourself up. Open to possibilities, open to greatness, open to healing, open to betterment, and let go. Breathe deeply in, maybe with new eyes, seeing the possibility of a new life where you no longer run away from pain. Breathe deeply in and accept that pain is a part of life and we can learn and grow from it. Breathe deeply in and let go. Let's take one more big deep breath in. Fill that body with gratitude. Fill the mind and the heart. Fill your spirit with so much gratitude for the awareness and insights that have come today. That allow you to sit here better for having these insights. How are we doing today, y'all? How was that one? Woo-wee! I am feeling pretty good, and I feel a lot stronger. What is it that you feel? I'm going to see if I can see all your beautiful comments. I see you. Liz, my cat is trying to hunt the birds in your yard. That, my friend, is really, really funny. I appreciate that. And so I don't know if it's going to let me watch myself or if I can see your comments. But if it does allow me, it's as if I'm using a little too much bandwidth at the moment. Do you ever feel like that? You're using too much bandwidth? I think that's a sign. I think it's a sign that we've spread ourselves too thin and we need to focus. Pam Banks, you are amazing. Thank you for helping me be more aware of my feelings. Ma'am, you are so welcome, because that is a changed life, a life that becomes aware of its feelings. You know why? Because emotions are just teachers, people. They're just teachers. They're a lot more than that, but they are also very powerful teachers. Trella, thank you so much. That was one of the deepest meditations I've done in a while. I needed that. About 8 months ago, I left an abusive partner. Good on you. And have worked through so much pain and have been doing well lately. My heart is still hurting, and that was such a release for me today. In tears, and I feel so light. You know, Trella, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being vulnerable. I have goosebumps. I don't know if you can see them on the video. Thank you for being vulnerable. And I want to tell you, it took me a lot of years to learn how to cry. I don't know about you, but I heard messages, especially as a young athlete, and so much of my life, you'll hear me talk if I talk about my past, was being an athlete. That was so much of my identity when I was younger. But I heard so much, suck it up. You want something to cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Now let me preface that every story I tell of my past is a beautiful learning opportunity. And it took work and vulnerability to get there. And I love, with my whole entire heart and every fiber of my being, both of my parents, and I have an incredible relationship with them both. So when I share of my past, it is never in an effort to demean or belittle or lessen the value of their existence. I love them both so much. They are amazing. The way that we perceive our lives when we're little is really something, because we're not quite developed up here. All of that said, tears. Tears is what I wanted to tell you. Tears are release, and they are powerful. So I spent a lot of years of my life not crying and not letting go. But just like Trella shared, something that's really powerful is letting that pain go. It is a form of purging and releasing. And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we really need to let go, to release, to recognize the depth of pain we've been holding, whether that's guilt or shame or not feeling good enough, and whatever we would label it with, but to release that. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Share. Thank you, Trella, for that. And that's our work, y'all. And I really mean it. I really think that we are capable of incredible things. And on the other side of that, to be honest with you, I also think a lot of us aren't doing what we can. I think a lot of people stay inside of their pain or stay inside of indifference. And unfortunately, and that's okay, in everyone that I deal with, I do my best to accept or assume everyone's doing the best they can with the tools they've got. It's a sort of presupposition, if you will, that I do my best to view people through the lenses of. But I will tell you that I don't necessarily think that all of us at all times really are doing our best. And finding the balance in that sort of presupposition is simply the part of me that really feels like we are capable of so much. The part of me that sees human beings in life find a level of resolve and willingness to drive so deep, to rise so high. I see that. And I want that for myself too. And I want that for all of the people that I love. And I recognize that some people will never choose that, and that's okay. And we can still love and have gratitude for every single person. What I can tell you, and what I'll leave you with today, is that our responsibility isn't to do that for others, but it is to do that for ourselves. I believe that honoring this life you have, no matter what you believe about what happens when you die, whether you come back again or you go to heaven, or whether you think nothing happens. Let's not get into all of our thoughts about all these things. I do believe that in being given this opportunity, I have a responsibility. And I will tell you that the more you wake up, the greater that responsibility. You've maybe heard, to whom much is given, much is expected. Or what's the quote from Spider-Man? Something about, with great gifts comes great responsibility. The reality is, when you grow, and because you cannot unknow what you know. And to me, my friends, that is powerful. And so with that, I hope that you have an incredible day today. I hope that whatever insights came, you take time to look at and observe, and you take your paintbrush and you paint those colors into your life in a way that is powerful and helpful for you. Have an amazing day today, and as always, know your worth.